you can't just be an actor and say you're just being an actor. Maybe you can add voiceover to it because there's this cash flow that you need to sustain. Because how many movies are produced in a year in Ghana? You can't just decide that I will want to live on acting alone without using one, the recognition that you've gained from acting to not probably start a business or something.
Read. Broaden your breadth of knowledge, broaden your vocabulary. Be more. Whatever you want to do in the creative space, be more than that. Whatever technology you are using, learn more of it. Now you need to be more than what you are, just to be viable in the world we are in. He's on a turnaround. Whoa, whoa. Turn around. Turning point. Yeah. He's on a turnaround. Welcome to Springboard, your virtual university. My name is Albert Okran. Welcome you to Ghana's foremost developmental program and that place where the greatest minds in the world converge. Springboard is brought to you by the Springboard Roadshow Foundation in partnership with MTN Ghana, the Enterprise Group, and the Ghana Growth Program, a collaboration between MasterCard Foundation and Springboard. Our media partners, Joy FM, Joy News, the Springboard channel on YouTube, and the Graphic Communications Group. Today, we continue exploring the business of entertainment. Can one make a living as a performer full time? Can it be something that you dream about in your childhood with parental and societal support and chart a path and pursue it from beginning to end and retire peacefully, gracefully, fulfilled, reflecting on a life well lived? We may not explore all the answers in this edition, but it's a journey we are traveling, breaking down different parts of it. The production, as we did with Kwachi, the music of it, and today, film, theater, acting. What is in the soup? My guest for today will help me understand your beautiful industry. It's been part of our lives throughout, storytelling from childhood. We do some Anansi here, some Osafudazi here, some other aspects here, but really it's been part of our lives all along. I have with me Andrew Tando Adote. Andrew, I watch literally almost everything you do. Good to see you.
It's good to be here. It's good to be back.
Yes, last was April 2024 last year,
Mm-hmm.
and thank you for coming again.
My pleasure.
And welcoming on is it the big screen? Or welcoming to Springboard, Dela Seade, you're an actress, entrepreneur, and the CEO of Black Sheep Foundation. How are you, madam?
Very well, thank you. It's so good to see you. I grew up hearing about you so much, and I'm so happy to meet you.
What did you say I had done? Telling stories?
Nothing you should be worried about.
Okay, write a script and act it. All right. So let's talk about theater. Let's talk about drama. Let's talk about film.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about your industry. Is it an exciting industry?
For me, I'd say it is, even though I haven't been in it for a long time. He has been in it more than
All his life.
Yeah, exactly. But I would say I find it very intriguing. I find it exciting, and day in day out, you learn new things. So yeah, it is exciting.
For a person like you in it, who plays different roles in it, I mean, do you is it like, is it business for you? Is it a hobby for you? Something you enjoy, or is something that you have to do? Give me a sense of from your eyes when you do what you do.
So I am, as a person, never wanted to be in the limelight. I don't like attention. I don't like unnecessary, drama. So it's never been something that I have thought that I would do. And another thing is, growing up in a Ghanaian home, like a typical Ghanaian home, you will not wake up and say you want to be an actor.
Mhm.
It's not something that will cross your mind. Like I have gone through all the phases of I want to be this, I change it to that. At some point I wanted to be a dietitian. At some point I wanted to be a pediatric nurse or a pediatrician itself. I have gone through all that phases, that phase, and now as a Christian, I'll say it's a calling.
I love this.
Yeah,
I love
I'll
this.
say it's a calling.
So it's okay to explore, to
Yeah.
travel the journey of at one point wanting to do this and then another and another. It's okay.
Yeah.
In it.
Life is not. I was earlier when I was talking to Andrew before he came in, I was asking him, how do people do this? Life. How do you guys do it? Because there's so much to do that there's so much you can do as a person. Like there's so much to do that if you're not able to manage your time well, you end up doing nothing at all. You only think about it and not do. So it's okay to go through all those phases. People start careers and in 10 years they quit and start something else.
It's
like,
okay.
all of a sudden I want to do this, which is very okay. Because the more you enter deeply into it, the more you realize that it will take you very long to come back. So if you realize that you are going too far and you really don't enjoy what you're doing, just get off now. Because if you're going to Kumasi and you realize that you are in a different bus, the more you go, the more it will take you to come back to come and start your Kumasi journey. So why don't you just get off it?
On the wrong road, acceleration is not an asset.
Exactly.
Andrew, in our last show,
Yeah.
the theme was finding yourself.
Mhm.
I went back to read your synopsis of it on X and the whole positioning of that show. And with the benefit of hindsight, I find that conversation even more relevant than ever.
Mhm.
Finding yourself. For the benefit of anyone listening today, how important is it to do what you really, Dela calls the calling.
Mhm.
How important is it to find yourself and do what is you?
I think it's extremely important. Like Dela said, this life we are living can take you in all sorts of directions. The sooner you find yourself in your path in life and follow that path, the earlier all other things will be added onto you. So yes, there are people who are great communicators, others who are great performers, others who are great at strategy and analysis and things like that. And the sooner we are able to find those things for ourselves, the better. Of course, the homes we grow up in, the parents want our best interests at heart. So there is this in the more liberal homes, they'll tell you, okay, you want to do this, but do this for me first.
Yeah.
And make sure you have this so that you have a safety net. Then if you want, and in a lot of Nigerian homes also, I find the same thing. I worked with a Nigerian actor who came to Ghana to shoot something. And he's an engineer by profession, but his passion is film. So he gave them the engineering. He's done the engineering. He's an engineer now. And now he's one of the fastest rising young filmmakers in Nigeria, like very well known and making a name for himself in Nigeria. Musicians like Files the Bad Guy is a lawyer by training.
Okay.
Even RMD is I think is he now a lawyer?
I'm not sure.
Because I know he's pursuing law in some fashion, So that's the environment you grew up in, as opposed to out there where when a child shows some kind of affinity for something at 5 years old, he instantly is put into that environment. And then if it's martial arts, you there are people who have been doing martial arts since they were 2.
Yeah.
2 years old. I saw a video of this boy. The parents realized that he liked playing with fabrics and he wanted to sew. Immediately, they got him a sewing machine, got him some fire, and this boy has now had a runway show, and he's barely 10 years old, So, as for finding yourself, the mindsets in the different locations kind of affect it, but I believe as an individual, also the awareness that you need to find yourself is very important. A lot of us grow up now, we are, as it were, blown about by life until we stumble upon something. Say, oh, this thing, I think I can do it. Which is, I think, what happened to me. There was a period of my life where I didn't know where I was going. I had no direction, and it took maybe a whisper of God to say, you know what, this thing you might be good at it, or I might be good at it. Let me try it. It was the same with voiceovers. My sister had told me years earlier, that you have a nice voice. You should do voiceover. She was working at CTFM at the time, my older sister. And it just came and entered one ear and left. Until years later.
Have you heard of apology letters?
Pardon?
Have you heard of apology letters?
Be familiar with
Yeah.
them.
Write one and send it to her. I said,
Yeah.
Charlie, if I had listened earlier.
Yeah. So years later, when I got to that juncture in my life where I was like, no, I have to pursue this thing, whatever it is I feel inside. Then it came back that my sister did mention I have a nice voice. Let me call somebody at CTFM, which was Jessica or Paris Afura at the time. I called her and said, they say I have a nice voice. I want to try this voiceover thing. And then incidentally, she was supposed to do a voiceover with Oscar Provençal, and Oscar was out of town. So I was like, funny you should say that. You know what, come and let's do this thing. Oscar is out of town. And then I went to CTFM, we did it together, and that was she was the first person to give me money in exchange for voiceovers. I've told this story before, but it's just and then what followed was Uncle Ebo, me giving him my illustrations and things like that. So that was when I began to find myself, and it set me on this path to where I am now.
Let me come to you, Dela. Still on finding yourself, because that is where before the economics comes in, you need to even know the art, the person, the interest. From where you sit, what kind of abilities would one need to thrive in the spaces we are discussing? I guess you mentioned communication. That should be a starting point.
Very important. And I think, growing up, we develop things that we didn't even know that we were developing. Like, let's say you go to Sunday school and your teacher gives you memory verse to come and say in front of the big church, and you are developing communication skills gradually. I teach Sunday school kids, and I told them that I wish I had taken it more seriously over there, because I used to do drama, I used to do recitals, poetry, singing, and these are things that I can do now, which I didn't learn in school. So our environment also helps us cultivate these kind of skills. So public speaking, communication, like he said, and then also their love for interesting things. Like, your mind works in ways that even you don't realize that it works in that way. Like, you see something like this, for example, I come and there's this board, the way it's the symmetry and everything. I'm so fascinated by it. Okay, I know that. Okay, then I would love arts. There are certain things that your attention will be skewed to that will make you know that, okay, this is where I want to. He said illustration, and he showed me some illustrations that he's done, and I didn't even know that he had it. So it's like there's a common denominator. It's the love for things, tangible things, or like intangible things. The love for certain form of arts that you don't even think that people should love. Yeah, basically that's it.
I watched the King's Horseman.
Death and the King's Horseman.
I'm just wondering, would that be the work you've done that involved the largest volume of text to memorize?
Yes.
Even as a viewer, I noticed it.
Yes.
I was awed. I was like, no, don't tell me. That's huge.
Yes.
Crazy.
There were more lines in the Act 1 of Death and the King's Horseman than 2/3 of The Gods Are Not to Blame.
I thought so too.
Yes.
I thought so too.
And because
From
of that
technical point of view, that was a masterpiece.
Yes.
In terms of the amount of.
Yes. I had memorized, and the thing is that I had memorized most of the lines. We performed it and realized the play was too long. So the lines you saw me memorize was not all that I memorized. We had to literally cut out almost half of my lines in the play for it to fit to within 2 hours. I don't know how long the play.
It ended up being, was it 2:40?
2 hours, 40 minutes.
Something like that, yeah.
If we had done the full thing, it would have crossed. It was going to be closer to 4 hours. That's how long. That's how long the play was. So we had to, we including songs and things like that. So we had to make the decision to say, okay, I have memorized this thing, but let me cut it out and skip to this and skip to this and skip to this to compact it.
So let's, serious work. So let's use that as a case study. I mean, for those who didn't watch it, I mean, next time we hear, I mean, I'm very passionate about supporting the industry with my small, at least pay and watch. And I don't get free. I decline free tickets. I feel that if a friend or brother is doing something, a sister is doing something, the least, and Uncle Ibo White knows it, Josh P knows it. I mean, Nash knows. I mean, the least friends can do is to bring. Whenever I'm coming, it's like 8 people, 10 people. You can. That's how we used to support, and take a front seat and watch it and clap.
Yeah,
hey, that's it. So, I sat down and I said that was a serious work. So on the stage, for just using 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 the king's horseman
Mhm.
as a model, just for the sake of it, I'm sitting down looking at the guy who does the props, the kind of skill required. You had to ride a horse at a point.
Yeah.
You had to dance at a point.
Yeah.
You had to memorize lines at a point.
Yeah.
Some poetry here, oratory here.
Mhm.
What range of skills? I mean, it's almost like there's even science inside the acting.
Yeah, to some extent, there is a science to it because when stage movements are not random on stage, every movement you take has rules attached to it. There's a way you're supposed to stand. There's a way you're supposed to move. Um, even with in relation to fellow characters, there are if you pass behind a character, it symbolizes something. If you pass in front of a character, it symbolizes something. Where you stand, if you are a character that is heavy, they can let you stand on one side and maybe 10 people stand on another side
To balance the stage.
to balance the stage. If your character is weighty, if your character isn't weighty and you're here, it tips the balance of the stage. It doesn't look good. So they need to have some people standing here and a number of people standing here, unless, like I said, your character is that weighty and that the presence is that strong, then you alone can stand and some people can. So there are all kinds of rules. So there's a science to everything that we did on that stage.
So now let's enter into the economics of it.
Mhm.
Does the reward match the effort in the
Before I go
industry?
into that, I would like to acknowledge the fact that you need to be very intelligent.
Yes.
Because people think that the people in the arts industry, we don't know what we are doing and we decided, okay,
Oh, how?
I want to be an actor.
Yeah, if you have nothing
Yes.
else to do,
Yeah.
How?
you fall on. That's been the mindset for a long time.
Yeah. But you have no idea that an actor probably has to spend hours and hours reading the same script over and over again. And me, I am
Do
someone.
you still think people think that way?
I still think so. Like the way they would treat maybe quote unquote a doctor in a place is different from how they would treat an actor when you enter a
It should be
place.
different, but it shouldn't be less respectful.
It's
Not
the
to-
negative.
And not to cut Stella, but there is no way any actor would have delivered the lines in Death and the King's Horseman if they didn't have an above average level of intelligence to understand what they were saying and deliver it with meaning. There is no way.
No, I think you're underselling it. That was a super
It's not easy.
literary masterpiece. I think it's senior level literature. It's not a joke.
Yeah.
Let's shift to any, and I'm going to come back to the economics of it. Let's shift to any other field of endeavor. We are coming from a place some time ago where a parent will panic if their child said we're going to play football. A parent will panic if their child said we're going to start a business from school. A parent will panic if their child said we're going to act or going into film. The community could call you and advise you and wonder whether you were okay. You didn't get a job if you said you're going to do art, events, anything. Some of the fastest moving things today in blogging, in AI, did not exist 10 years ago. So there were all kinds of assumptions about anyone who wanted to go into those spaces. But actually, the World Economic Forum predicted that the fastest moving, highest paying, biggest driving jobs in this season, this was in the 2000 report, over the next 10 years, will be jobs that did not exist 10 years ago. So it's not a surprise. So for anyone who still thinks that we can excuse them. But let me bring this home and say, from where you sit, is there, in the Ghanaian space, is there reward? Is there space? Is there opportunity for talent like this to be rewarded to the extent that somebody will wake up and say, I want to become an actor, actress in film in this country and live out that dream to the maximum as a full-time job, get paid, be happy, and retire. Are we there yet?
Okay, so from where I sit, there are so many lines on this issue. And if it depends on the standard of living that you're talking about. You can live, and I mean we've really come far as a country. That I'll give props to that, because people have started appreciating the art and are willing to pay a certain amount of money or allocate a certain amount of money to getting art people in our field, paid and all that. But the truth is, no, it's not where it's supposed to be, even 0.5% of it compared to the Western world, or even compared to some of our cousins in the other continent, in other countries. But I think it's getting better, and if you want to survive this, you need to do other stuff, and you need to either explore the other aspects of art. Maybe you can't just be an actor and say you're just being an actor. Maybe you can add voiceover to it, because there's this cash flow that you need to sustain. Because how many movies are produced in a year in Ghana? You can't just decide that I will want to live on acting alone without using one, the recognition that you've gained from acting to not probably start a business or something, or start a consultancy, or start a school, or start something. You just need, because nobody has, to the best of my knowledge, nobody has become rich by doing just one thing, especially in Ghana.
Really?
Yes. It's either they diversify at a point, or they add on, they add on. Like, let's say you're a teacher and you can't tell me that you would never accept the offer to do extra classes for some students in your class when their parents approach you. You don't want to live on just your salary. This has been like more like an unwritten rule since the old.
I was interviewing the CEO of MTN a couple of weeks ago, and he said he's amazed about Ghanaians because everybody has a side hustle.
Yes.
And he said it so comfortably. The part he added that I got amused about the most. He says, I must find my own side hustle. We had a good laugh about it. But Simi Bluet believes that every Ghanaian has a side hustle.
Yes, everybody does now.
Okay, so
Even
you think
students.
you're of the same school of thought?
Even students, because the thing is, our environment will not allow you to just sit. Because let's say I'm doing 2 movies a year or 3 movies a year. It will not fund me for 3 months. I will go broke, and it's going to be a case or a scenario of popular and broke. And my mantra in this industry is, I do not want to be popular and broke. I would rather live comfortably and not be known. And I mentioned earlier on that I never wanted to be known. So that cannot be a currency for me.
So to you, being known is not an end in itself. It literally is like a means to an end.
Yeah, it's like it comes with the job.
It's something you would rather not have had.
Yes, it comes with the job. But I mean, it's part of the job, it's part of the package. I would rather live comfortably and work like a regular person, because the truth of the matter is, I still want to go and buy my beans by the roadside. I still want to be able to buy my plantain by the roadside. But now that I am known, if I'm buying my beans and my cocoa by the roadside,
they interview you so many times that you even end up buying a thing. Because
no, let's say if I used to spend 10 cedis, now I have to go to a place where it's enclosed and everything. They're probably charging me 50 cedis when I can get the same thing for 10 cedis.
Because you're rich and famous. Also, Springboard Virtual University. When I come back to you, I'll be asking you the same question, and I'll throw a slant on it with a German story. So stand by for that one, Andrew Tano Adote. But this is Springboard Virtual University, and this is a conversation about the entertainment industry, especially with a focus on film, drama, theater. We're just asking a simple question: is this something somebody can plan to go into, prepare to go into, actually go into, enjoy being in, live a fulfilling life, and then retire in and look back and say, whoa, that was awesome? This is part of our bigger conversation about expanding the platforms of opportunity for young people considering their career prospects. It is our hope, our expectation, our desire, our aspiration that these conversations will help young people, their families, their parents, the community, educators, counselors to get deeper insights into the length and breadth of various industries so we can make informed choices in our pursuit of careers. And also so we can work together from an informed perspective. Somebody said to me, their parents, I want to do this. And they said, why? He says, because my friend wants to do it. They said, no, we didn't take you to school for your friend's sake. So you can go back to your parents and say, listen, I have the numbers. Over the past 5 years, this is the average number of people who have gone in, and this is how much they've made. And I think there are opportunities. That's the kind of thing we want to do as we break down these conversations. Let's go for a break. When we come back, let's now begin to unpack different aspects of the business of entertainment. Please don't go away.
Still, Misaka, and Nemum was a summer brabo, and it can afford swab.
Misaka pensions, Carol.
Misaka order Sika.
Misaka insurance.
Misaka loan.
Momo Fogusuri ye echumaden, diaboye nina ye sika hubai. Se MTN, ana momo jumaye ni befrewa, or the 0244 300,000 ene befrew. Ne numpo orin bitsao one-time password, ana se upin code, enti wonso, ye wafemu je, na ma weni na ho, na wonsa enka momo.
No stress. Submit your insurance claim online in just seconds on the Claims Express portal. Simply upload your national ID, cost estimates, pictures, and more to get started. Submit online, track progress, and get paid fast. Skip the paperwork and get back on the road with ease. Visit claimexpress.enterprisegroup.net.gh for easy claims and quick payouts with absolutely no stress.
Enterprise, your advantage.
Learn something new every week and be inspired by innovations, impact, and success stories of individuals making strides in the agricultural, agribusiness, technical, and vocational skill sectors on Ghana Grows Ejuma with Arabo Kumsin and Yabitha. Join us this and every Thursday on Facebook at 7 p.m. at Ghana Grows, also at Comfort Okran A and at Albert N.E. Okran. On Fridays at 4 p.m. on Joy 99.7 FM and on Sundays at 5:45 p.m. on TV3. Ghana Grows is an initiative of MasterCard Foundation in partnership with the Springboard Roadshow Foundation. If you are a young person and you want to be a part of our various interventions, call or WhatsApp Ghana Grows call center on 0308 255 775. Follow us on all our social media handles. Ghana Grows Ejuma. Hope Day.
Welcome back to Springboard, your virtual university. If you ever have considered acting, doing film, stage props, voiceovers, anything in the creative industry that has to do with presenting, acting, just call somebody to call somebody to call somebody. Let's have this big conversation about the business of entertainment. Springboard is brought to you by the Springboard Roadshow Foundation in partnership with MTN Ghana, the Enterprise Group, and the Ghana Grows Program, a collaboration between MasterCard Foundation and Springboard. Joy 99.7 FM, Joy News Television, the Springboard Channel, and the Graphic Communications Group. So, before we come back to our conversation, let me give some props to our sponsors. And the Enterprise question for the day is about the Enterprise Personal Pension Plan. If you are an actress or an actor, how do you get a personal pension plan? And the personal pension plan is an individual financial planning tool aimed at helping you to achieve your long-term financial goals so that when you retire, you can look back and say, what a wonderful career I've had. And while you're saying it, ensure that, like Dela Seade, they said, there's money in your pockets, not that you're famous but broke. And to do that, call Enterprise on 030-263-4704. Email info.trustees at myenterprisegroup.io. Enterprise, your advantage. The Ghana Grows call center to call if you want to explore past editions of this broadcast, anything that we have aired. Just dial 030-8255-775. Ask any question you may have about what we've aired, what we are doing, the Springboard Roadshow, and you can also WhatsApp us on the same number, and we'll support any young person looking for opportunities in the area of your career and the progression of your life. Let's give some props to a business on the show today so they can make some more money. So if you're looking for authentic Ghanaian grown spices with no additives, Spice of the Earth is the business you must promote and support. Spice of the Earth. You can find them by calling 024-972-1285. Support made in Ghana goods, made in Ghana businesses, and let's help to grow our own, like we are discussing. So this is our commitment. We find one business every single show and just give them props so they can make some more money. Sometimes we don't even know them. We just confirm that they are genuine and then give them a push, and then they get plenty business. That's our commitment. So great. If you find actors to an actress, promote them.
Artists, tell them.
Yeah, the voice of artists. Yeah. Let's do one pros for you. If somebody if somebody wants to do a voiceover, the number to call is
020-8254-884.
Call the number again,
020-8254-884.
The last time I came, you asked me, do you want upbeat? Do you want somber? I say, mood to come.
Yeah.
So they gave me three options. I say, yeah, this is senior work.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
cool.
studying him too, so I'm doing voiceover.
That's right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's my coach.
Charlie, you see.
I do my best.
Now, before we went for the break, we're talking about side hustles. Mm-hmm. So now I'm understanding that even in the voiceover, you can pay for coaching, or the coaching is free.
It's pro bono.
Oh, no. But Charlie, yeah. So there's voiceover. So let's explore that point a bit more. I mean, Dela Seade says, I don't want to, and just in case you just joined us, this is Andrew Tando Adote. Andrew is an actor. That's what he is, and that's what we know him for. He's also a voiceover artist. Mm-hmm. Dela is an actress. She's she runs an NGO called Black Sheep Foundation to support orphanages and disadvantaged.
Yeah, and villages.
And
people living with HIV as well.
Okay, and
Kids
give them a better life. Yeah. You love children. You mentioned that you do Sunday school as well. Yes, and then she's also so when people have done a beauty pageant, and in the past, do we call them retired former beauty queen? What do you call them?
You can just say past beauty queen.
Oh yeah, past. Charlie, you must add it to your CV because it's very important. just as an interesting aside. Okay, so let me come to you, Andrew.
Yes.
The dynamic of famous but broke. Is it a real conversation? I mean,
when you asked
the issue of side hustles.
Yeah, when you asked Dela the question, it made me think about 4 or 5 years ago when I was forced to look at my life and my career as it was. And I realized that, the situations where you are so good that somebody comes out of nowhere and picks you up and throws you into the limelight, that situation does not happen for everyone. And if you say, and for a long time, that was my mindset that, look, everybody says I'm good at what I do. So by all means, things should
happen for you.
Doors should start opening and things like that. I remember after Beasts of No Nation, there was a part of me that thought, okay, now I'm moving to another level. But it was more like you went here and then you come back here.
My goodness.
And that's how it is. So it feels like there's a project that happens, you go here, and then you come back here to where you are. And I realized that being an artist is not enough. You need to be a strategist. You need to be a brand consultant for yourself. If you can't afford one, you need to be a brand consultant. And in the age of social media, you also need to be savvy with social media. So there's a whole lot of things. I look at one Hollywood actor, let's say Idris Elba, because he's the one I've met. It's not just him. You see him, but behind him is a whole team of publicists, managers, stylists, agents. There's a whole bunch. There's a whole team that spearheads that the brand Idris Elba spearheads, and it's the same for even actors in Ghana who we know are at a certain level. You go behind them, then you see the personal assistants, you see the publicists, you see this, you see that, you see this, and you see that. So I realized that no, even with the art, you have to consider the business aspect of things. He said something about brand positioning, where you see that everybody tells you, Andrew, you are the best I have ever seen. But you notice that people who they say you are better than are getting bigger opportunities than you. Bigger doors are opening for them than you. Why is that? You know, even in voiceovers, I don't think you can name voiceover artists in Ghana now without naming me. But I still hear of deals that are going on. I realize some people are getting 4 times what I asked for, and they are begging me and they are running away. Some people are asking for 5 times that and they are getting it with ease. So there is something else. There are certain things that you also need to consider as an artist that if you don't, you it's like no matter how good you are likely to end up famous and broke.
Yeah.
And it is those things that I want to explore on the show. So from the two of you, help me to understand, how do you increase the value proposition as a performer, an artist?
So with the value of hindsight now, one, you need exposure beyond the shores of your country, Ghana. Nigeria can create global stars on its own, virtually. But unfortunately, in Ghana, there's a certain mindset going on that if you don't make a name outside, there isn't too much of a premium put on you if you are not careful. I know photographers, you know Oflex.
Yeah.
And he remarked that he traveled outside the country, came back, and people looked at him because he took some pictures with some white people outside. He came back and people were looking at him differently. Hey, Charlie, right now, dear, we can't afford you. Why are they saying that? Why you going out and coming back? Why is it having that effect on people like, hey, right now? So now we have to be more careful when we call you. Where did that mindset come from? And every time people run into me, they see maybe death, they can see Death and the King Horseman. Their mindset is always, Charlie, you shouldn't be in Ghana.
Why?
That's the question I've been asking. Why? Because I think at a subconscious level, they understand that in this country, talent like yours will not be appreciated.
That is an assumption.
No, I've heard it too many times. It is an assumption, but it is somewhat an informed assumption because too many people have said it.
Pause for a minute. Let me come to you, Dela Seade. So, Dela, if somebody, I'm reading 3 things at the same time as he speaks. One is intentionality. Somebody wants to position their brand in a certain way. So they say, to do that, in my case, I will travel, even if it's on holiday, and I will take some intentional pictures and put them in certain platforms to create a certain effect. The interpretation, the reading of that thing is that he's gone international. That international could have been a holiday. He's addressing a particular audience perception with a certain response, and he got the result that he wanted. Can that same intentionality be achieved in other ways without necessarily going abroad?
Without necessarily going abroad. I mean, that's also on the side. It adds up to it, but you need to be very intentional when it comes to putting yourself out there, because whatever you feed the people is what they are going to mirror back to you. So, for example, if everything, I'll use National as an example, everything she posts is about work and her health lifestyle, which is also the approach that ideally everybody should take, because people really want to know what is going on in your life, but if you don't want them to know, you don't feed them with that. Because there are some people that everything about them is online. Now, if something happens to you in your personal life, and let's say there's a project that speaks against what is happening to you in your personal life, because you've put your personal life out there and that thing happened to you and it's associated with you, they're not going to call you for that job. If the people
So
understand
generally, you're
that.
saying manage what you put out there.
Manage what you put out
But
there.
at the same time, intentionality in putting the right thing out there can give you an
Exactly,
advantage.
because you can. I share so much about myself online, and it has nothing to do with my personal life. It's always about work.
Has your online profile opened doors to you in
So
business? So that's one other form of intentionality.
So many, because I starting this journey, I had a publicist, and he was even managing one of my social media accounts because it's so much work. And I want to say this and put it out there. You don't have to be on all the social media platforms.
Absolutely.
There are some people who just chose 3 and said, this is what I want to do. Maybe Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, or Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn, Facebook,
TikTok.
Instagram. TikTok, some people are just on TikTok.
Yeah.
Because TikTok
find what works for you.
Exactly. So find what works for you and hammer that place. Like you keep hammering, it becomes soft for you. People now will come to him like, we want you to post on TikTok, but we want you to do a cross posting. Gradually, because you are famous on TikTok, it's the same people that use TikTok that use Instagram.
As an influencer, would you say these principles can be leveraged into the life of an actor or actress?
Yes, it's no different. Once you're in the art space, musician, actor, influencer, content creator, everything, you need to be intentional about the kind of news. Someone told me that there's nothing like bad publicity. Me, I think there is something like bad publicity. I do not want to be known for certain things, so I won't even let it go out in the first place. And I tell some of my colleagues in the acting industry that you need to, if you don't talk about yourself, nobody's going to talk about you. You need to be your own fan. Put yourself on. Like, even if you're doing the littlest chore when it comes to your work, put it out there, because you don't know what or who is watching. I put so much intentionality in when brands come to me. I plan like a whole month. I have this people like, oh, see, I want us to do this. I want it to look like this. I want it to look like that. And when you put it out there, the effort shows. It will surprise you, but you will think effort doesn't show, but effort shows. It shows when you the kind of efforts you put in your production. When we came, we're talking about we're talking about it, and he has something to tell you. We were talking about it, and I was like, it's very intentional and it screams excellence. You can't achieve that by just waking up and say, "And hey, shoot you," you can't. You know when this is going to be out there. You know the timelines. You've planned everything. Like, do photo shoots as an actor. Someone, they want to see your state of being in that moment. If you have to take headshots every 3 months, do it. Invest in yourself. That way, when someone comes to you and you give them your rate card and you say, "This is what I'm taking," they can't, it takes a lot for them for you to drive them away. But gradually, you attract the right audience.
Wait up to you on that, because you've actually answered a question that Andrew asked earlier.
Oh.
About the fact that you can technically be better than somebody, but they can be paid more. And I found out that in marketing, they say tangibilizing the intangible. No matter what you do, because people don't see it as a tangible product, they are buying a drum of oil, fuel, or a piece of furniture. Acting is it's intangible, and so voiceover is intangible. So there's a story about a guy who went somewhere and asked for water. Would you like some water? He said, sure. Stilled or question, cold or still or by the time the other 7th question, the guy says, okay, I think I'm okay. But
there's another
behind behind that is when a person assumes that, oh, voiceover, they know any voiceover. When you send them a questionnaire that says, do you want an African mood? Do you want a feel of this? Do you want that? It tangibilizes a lot of back work that you do that is not seen. The person can see, oh, wow, this is not like the ordinary sending script. Okay.
Yeah. The same with acting.
So when you develop different expressions and insist that all these must be ticked, it increases the value proposition.
Exactly.
And the person, when they pay, finally understands that, you know what, this is not just an ordinary person. Is this something that we can translate into the industry they're in?
Yes, and like I
And
said,
a slap on a rate card, very nicely designed and done, that makes the person know that
some
you don't come and do it and then later.
sometimes it's you can do that, but because of sometimes the pace of the industry, they give you something and they want it at this time, and there's really no time to sit down and say, okay, this is what I have, this is what I'm doing, this is what, because we've cultivated an industry that doesn't have time for those things, unless maybe you're so big, your name is so big that when they're approaching you, they'll know, okay, this is Reverend Albert Okran, let's talk. But if it's call Dela, let's call Dela to do this. Hey, Dela, we need this tomorrow. Can you please come and let's do it tomorrow? Okay, so okay, oh, let's give you this. Oh, and then it's done, you know. But to what you said earlier, as I was saying, I was forced to ask myself these questions and say, what am I not doing right? What could I do better? How do I position myself now? And it led to certain choices, strategic choices I have made in theater, with people I work with, even the social media, the things I put on social media in terms of voiceovers. I began to record my voiceover sessions and put them on social media. There was one I posted about with a shell that went viral. And people were saying, oh, so it's you. So you are the one behind. So people had been hearing my voice for years, but they didn't know, they didn't match the face to the voice. So now people are saying, so you are the one with the, so it's you. So I thought it was AI. I thought it was this. I thought it was that. So they began to now brand me as, okay, a voiceover artist. So for a period on TikTok, those who are on TikTok knew me as a voiceover artist. And on Instagram,
Exactly.
they knew me as an actor, which was very interesting. So someone came and said, oh, I saw your voiceover on TikTok, but they had no idea I do acting too.
Right.
Which was fascinating.
When you wear different hats, just settled with the fact that,
yes,
I find that very, very often with my life.
Yes.
People know a part of you and they know it so well, and they get surprised when they see the other part.
Yes.
And they keep telling themselves, no, don't tell me. Oh, it's that deep.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it feeds into the intentionality and the position. I'm still on that journey. Anybody I meet, I ask questions, you know. When Segun Arinze came to Ghana, I took opportunity to ask him, okay, so should I seek, he had assessed my life at that point. I said, should I look for a manager? He said, no, grow into it.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
And I was like, it was like you see, this when wisdom, when you experience wisdom, one sentence, he said, grow into it. I was like, wow, that makes sense on so many levels.
Do it, but at the right time.
At the right time, grow into it. I said, thank you very much. That was
Talking
great.
of Segun Arinze, what's the role of mentoring in your own journey? The counsel of somebody who knows the place you're trying to get to. In a minute.
Yeah. I go to him a lot. I have other people that I go to. One attribute that you need to have in this industry is to be teachable, because you can't I mean, in life generally, you can't stop learning. People have done this before you, and that's the best thing you can do for yourself, is to be teachable. And no, sometimes you don't necessarily have to take the person on as a mentor, but asking questions, I mean, obviously the person has knowledge about it, so it's a very important part of this industry to ask questions, because you never know what is going on behind the scenes, because he wouldn't know that people are receiving 3 times what he is charging if he hadn't asked questions. So I think it's a very important part.
Still on the same topic, and that was my last thing to explore today. Can you, even without meeting somebody and sitting with them to ask them to mentor anything, just closely observe the pattern, the progress, the choices, the positioning, and become a better person?
Yes. My pastor says a lot of that is copy.
Yeah,
Copy.
And then with
because
time you can develop it. You grow into it.
Yeah,
but you can copy.
Has happened before.
Yeah.
Everything under the sun. There's nothing new under the sun. It has happened before. It's just an advanced version that probably God has put their wisdom in a new person, and they are using their perspective of life to translate it. But everything has happened before, and I copy a lot when it comes to my social media presence and all of that. I go on Pinterest, I see this, I'm like, this resonates with my brand. I am going to emulate it and do it this particular way. And I would like to say that I always say this, like, because I said it was a calling, I believe that God has put me in this industry to change the narrative when it comes to Christians and this our industry, because there's always the notion of you can't do something, you can't do that. But God said we should occupy. Jesus said we should occupy. So how am I occupying, and how am I also making Jesus seen in this industry? Now, if you fuse that together, it's a lot of things, and it's challenging, but the sense of not being left out is what has kept me going, because I don't feel left out of anything.
Why should you? You are making a huge contribution.
Exactly.
Let's sign off. Let's sign off by sharing some thoughts with anyone who's starting out on this journey. One of my objectives in doing this series is, and I'll tell you two stories and then ask you to sign off for me. My mom, my dear mom Dora, lost me to bits, and I love her too. But she panicked when I started life trying to do a business, because she felt, finally, my son has a degree in economics. Now he will look after me well. And my starting point was not very attractive. What I wanted to do, she didn't have confidence that I would do well. Later, her opinion was revised. But she was a good mother at the time. She still is alive, just trying to make sure I didn't get it wrong. Fast track, my friend and brother Seth took his children to a European country for a month to try out their footballing skills and see whether they could get to be in an academy or to start a career in football. And I'm saying, wow, the world has come a long way from the early 90s when my mom felt almost betrayed to the 2025 where parents can take off from work and take their child to another country where the craft is more developed and say, I'm going to take off from work and sit by you on the pitch, supporting, cheering for a month and see whether you can get an opportunity. We've come a long way. But in the midst of all that, sign off by speaking to a young person who's now starting out in life, trying to even find themselves and do what they believe is their calling. Maybe let me start with you, Dela. Look into this camera and talk to somebody and give them some morale.
You can't skip the line. You can't skip the line. You work your way through to the front. Now, if somebody lifts you from the back and puts you in front, you don't even know what is happening in the front. So one thing you have to know is not to skip the line. Trust the process. Don't feel left out. At your own pace, you're going to gain clarity. And that's what worked for me.
So beautifully put. Yeah. And don't throw out your feet in the name of trends. Yeah, I love that one too much. Stand firm in your faith and pursue your dreams.
You see it as a calling. You won't waver.
You won't waver. Andrew, sign off for us on this industry.
All right. My dear young aspiring performer, the world is changing at a very rapid rate. What used to be enough for you 10 years ago is no longer enough now. With the advances in technology and expertise all over the world, that has made all kinds of elaborate things as simple with a click of a button. You can't be just what you are. You have to be more. So if you're watching me and you are an aspiring writer, don't be just a writer. Be study cinematography. Study even a bit of acting. Study something to add value to what you do. Study music. Study a second language. If you're an actor, don't be just an actor. Be a communicator. Study communication, the art of communication. How to put your ideas across on your own in a way that it flows and it's nice to the ears and people listen, because one of the biggest podcasters in the world now is Joe Rogan. What does he do? He sits down and talks to people. We will sit down, you will sit in your room and talk to someone. Nobody will pay attention to you. So why do millions and millions of people listen to one person have conversations? Read. Broaden your breadth of knowledge, broaden your vocabulary, be more. Whatever you want to do in the creative space, be more than that. If you want to be a director, learn to produce. Whatever technology you are using, learn more of it. Now you need to be more than what you are, just to be viable in the world we are in. And I pray that you find people that will also guide you, that will be your strength where you are weak. Begin to look for people right now. Look for friends, people you can vibe with. Somebody you know is good at something, and what you are good at can complement what they do. And also, the world we are going into, we will need an industry that is united in some way, shape, or form. So if you are blessed with the spirit of leadership, if you are blessed with the ability to gather people around you and move them towards a cause, and you are in this industry, make use of it. Because who knows, perhaps it will be you coming that will unite the industry in a way and make us a force to be contended with on the world stage. May God bless you, and all the best.
On the wings of that blessing, let me just pick from 2 Timothy 2:15. Study to show yourself approved unto God, a workman that needed not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Just the point about study resonated with me. So thank you very much, Dela Seade, for making time to be with us on the Virtual University. Thank you, Andrew, for coming again. Let's do this another time.
Sure.
My name is Albert Okran, thanking you on behalf of the Springboard Roadshow Foundation, our partners MTN Ghana, the Enterprise Group, and the Ghana Growth Program, a partnership between MasterCard Foundation and Springboard. Let me thank our media partners, Joy 99.7 FM, Joy News Television, and the Graphic Communications Group, and of course, the Springboard channel on YouTube. Subscribe to these platforms and you will be greatly enriched. Once again, my name is Albert, saying God bless you, and God bless you.